And welcome back to the Everyman Guys. I'm Jim.
I'm Will.
I'm Jake.
You got it right.
That was
this
smooth
time.
like butter. We're all so close.
I
feel like we get all
That's why I figured I had
We
to say
definitely
it the
did
right
start
way.
this 4 times. That didn't happen.
No, we did. It was fun.
Oh, we did.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
that's
did.
right. We did.
It's
Because
literally
producer
all our
Jeff.
producer's fault.
Yeah,
No
producer
one
Jeff
else's.
behind the camera. So
Are we in a different?
we started. What?
Are we in a different spot?
Different time zone?
We are in a different spot.
We are. I think it's 4 o'clock.
That's interesting.
Wait, we are. We have a table.
Yeah, we have
And
a
we're not
table.
on the
It's a whole
couch.
new setup.
Will's one
and
cheeking
I'm
it.
even way more comfortable than our other one.
Exactly.
Because I don't have a backrest.
I might actually have to hold you guys back.
Yeah, exactly.
At this point.
I know. We can flip the table, so you can't really.
That's
feels
true.
like
I
a
feel
Monday,
way
true.
too close to
Thursday.
him to argue with him again.
Yeah, I
So
know,
I don't
right?
wanna
We're
argue.
like,
I feel like I'm sitting back a little bit.
Will's going to get a couple of spit showers on the side
I
of
could
his
literally
face.
reach out
we're
and
not
shake
going to
hands
argue
with
this
Tate.
one, right? Because
Probably
we're
not.
probably on the same page on most of the stuff.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a good chance.
also, holding the mic is weird.
Yeah, it's all.
You got to remember to hold it.
It only weighs about the amount that I do.
I know.
true.
It's,
It's
so
very
heavy.
heavy. It's very heavy. So we started off happy, but we're gonna talk about something that's not super happy. That's why we have the black sheet over the table.
Yeah.
I am not
Because
wearing
we're
red.
dead inside.
I am
Never
wearing new teams that are playing right now because the Phillies were eliminated by the Arizona Diamondbacks in the NLCS. And we are done doing podcasts from now on. This is our last. We just wanted to come on
And
and tell you
that's
that.
it.
We moved everything just to tell you that specifically. No, we're going to talk about it. We haven't really talked about it at all.
I haven't really
We've
talked
been waiting to do
anyone
this
about
podcast
it.
We've been
because
waiting
we're
to
like,
do
oh,
this
it's
pod.
going to be awesome.
I know. I can't wait
We
to
can't
talk about
wait
the
to do
Phillies.
this.
World
Listen.
Series.
And then we sit down.
And then all dreams die like they always do.
So Ian, tell us how you've processed it the last
Because you were at the
24,
game.
56
Okay, yeah.
hours.
All right, so obviously you're nervous going into any playoff game.
Yes.
I was nervous going in. I went to Game 6.
He was at the stadium.
I was in the stadium. So
Inside
the
of it.
moment you step in that stadium, you're winning the game.
Yeah.
Rally towers are going nuts. They're playing music and they're blaring music. Everyone is just so hyped, and you're just like, "There's no way we're losing this." Well, we come out, and I think the Phillies were not using baseball bats.
They were.
I think they were just swinging their arms.
They were using like actual toothpicks.
Wiffle ball
Something
bats.
like
that
Ultra thin.
that
So-
skinny.
Wheat thins.
I'm like, all right, Diamondbacks got him a game. The Phillies went cold for a game. Let's Game 7. All right, so I'm nervous all the way up. Will and Jim are coming to our house.
Guess
And
who wasn't
right-
there, by the way?
Oh no, who was it?
Who wasn't there?
it was you, Jake.
It was you.
Guess
Who
what?
you?
You're the
reason they lost.
Typical. Yeah. Oh, well, they lost when
What a
you weren't
slob.
watching.
All right,
so
let him keep
So we're
going.
going into Game 7, and they're coming, and I'm telling my family about Game 6.
just a car.
So I'm telling about how Game 6 was, being there, and I'm like, even though they were losing, I still felt like they were going to win because it's so electric there. Like, it's more than what the media puts out.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm like getting extremely confident going into Game 7. And then just nothing happened. Like, literally nothing happened the entire game.
Well, Alec Bohm,
I was gonna say Corbin Carroll
You
got
didn't
like
even
4
know.
hits.
But you did not know.
I
Like, you
know.
wouldn't have known that Corbin Carroll had a good game. I guess mainly because I was watching the Phillies,
Yeah.
like not watching a baseball game. But just like complete silence. And like, I think it hurt the most because it's just like, we went up 2-0 and like literally, like I could have bet my entire life that we were going to the World Series.
Yeah.
I was so overconfident
You
that
know
we were
what?
going to the World Series.
Going into Game 6, we were riding over here with Jim. He's like, you know what? He's like, well, we're not just gonna win tonight. We're going to the World Series. We are going.
Listen,
Game 6.
I was sitting there before the game starts, like right before the Phillies are about to come on the field. They start playing and dude, the rally towels are going nuts. Everyone in the stands is going nuts, and I'm just like, I thought to myself, like, I could hardly move because I've never been to a playoff game, and that was just like stunning, like how amazing it was. And I was just thinking to myself, like, dude, I'm gonna be here when we go to the stinking World Series. Like, I will never, ever forget that I was at the stadium when we went to the World Series.
And now you'll never ever forget that you were at the stadium when we didn't go to the World Series.
And I apologize. It's my fault. I went to the game, so that's
is.
why we
It
lost.
That is why we lost.
I-
We
And
haven't talked about
I'm
this.
actually gonna
glad.
just
It
like,
was
They hadn't lost a game at home in the playoffs until you went to a
until
game.
I went,
So,
and I apologize to
we-
Phillies
listen,
fans,
it's
but
All right. We'll
It was
get
also
over it.
because it was a 5 o'clock
can
game
talk
at Will's
about it.
house.
Yes, that's true. And then the next night was because Ian wasn't with us the night before, and we lost. And then Jake didn't take that into consideration and left us again for Game 7.
So Jake, what do you have to say?
How do you explain yourself?
How do you comprehend everything that happened?
me right now.
I haven't really talked about it a lot.
like we're in
therapy.
This
I haven't told many people, but
haven't
Literally though, like I haven't spoken of it.
same.
same.
I haven't
Because like,
talked
I was
about it.
so mad that they lost.
My family was talking about it, and,
and
I
then
was
like I just went like
There's
I'm
always
not
next
talking
year.
about it. Otherwise, I'm gonna be so mad.
And
I
like,
was like, why do I do that to myself?
and like, what do you like? We said everything. Like, let's be honest. We really cared most about how us 5 took in the playoffs. So it's like we said everything we needed to say during the games, and then
Yeah,
like after that,
exactly.
I'm like, I don't care about your opinion. Like if it was anyone other than you guys,
Yeah.
like
I
I was
agree.
just like,
Yeah.
So-
I don't need to talk about it.
Like the ride into work the next morning, like I rode with someone who I know is a really big Phillies fan, and I just like, first of all, I don't want to be that person who's like, oh, I'm a Phillies fan, so I'm gonna act really mad. But also, I didn't want to be that person who was like, I'm just gonna talk about it to see how mad you get about it. Like, so like I didn't feel like talking about it, and I know he didn't. And the ride to work was like so quiet. I'm like, this is the worst. Like I hate this.
yeah.
I have a
But
bit.
like to sum it up, like trust me, when they leave my house or I leave theirs, it's like the craziest thing. When Game 7 ended, they both stood up and they're like, "All right, see you," and walked out. Like, yeah. And I turned off the screen and I hopped right up in bed. I'm like, I
went
have
out.
to just like I can't just like sit here
Yep.
and just watch a
You know
post game
what?
show or something.
I came home and did all my schoolwork. For the next day.
So Jake had to live with it for a while before he
that
went
was
to
like
bed. I will
after 11.
I will say this, and my family was all talking about it, and I was listening to sports talk and people talk about it. So my relationship with the Phillies is like I was young. I was 8 years old when they won the World Series, and then from 2008 to 2011, they were pretty dominant, except for in the playoffs. They lost a lot in the playoffs. And then they did jack squat for 11 years.
Yes.
I've been a Flyers fan for all my life. They went to the Cup in 2010. They lost in heartbreaking fashion. They dominated the Pittsburgh Penguins, one of the greatest playoff series of all time, and they crapped the bed against the Devils. I've been an Eagles fan I've not been a hardcore Eagles fan for that long. Honestly, the year I
About
really
as
got
long as
into
we
it,
were
I kind of
friends.
remember
Yes,
you really getting into it.
the year I
remember
got
that.
into it was the year they won the Super Bowl. I did not know. It was just because I started dating Noam, and she loved the Eagles.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, well, I'm going to be more of an Eagles fan now, and I love the Eagles now. And they've had heartbreaking losses before. So this one last year stunk that they lost to Houston. But you could say, well, they lost to Houston because, they were the underdog. They were the wild card team. They were coming into the Houston Astros were looking to win another World Series because the Houston Astros have only won 2 World Series since they've been dominant. They have been dominating
and cheating.
and cheating. They got into 7 straight ALCSs. They didn't win every single one of them. My thing is this. If you're upset and disappointed, that is perfectly all right. Upset that the offense went absolutely ice cold, absolutely. Mad at Craig Kimbrell, sure. I heard somebody say the other day, how can anyone as a fan wrap their arms around this team and accept this team next year and be excited for next year and have any and why would you even watch until like the playoffs? Listen,
Ew.
this is not the Sixers who have been consistently laying an egg every year.
We'll get to them then.
Listen, we, for real fans, were starved of any kind of competitive baseball for 11 years.
I never saw. I
For
never
11
saw
years.
a
That's
good
5
Phillies team.
years and
Until
then
last
6
year.
more on
6
top
more
of it.
until last year.
In my
These
lifetime,
two, in
like
their lifetime.
I've watched the Phillies a lot.
Yes.
I'm a giant
Have you
Phillies
ever
fan.
seen-
I've
For
never seen
really
playoff-
no
Yes.
valid reason.
No.
Until now.
Exactly.
Like-
and everyone you talk to
like you
during
had
that
no reason
stretch,
to root for.
Me,
Yes.
me and Ian, we grew up loving the Phillies, and only until last year.
Right.
Yeah.
I grew up in a time where
me
they
and
were
Jim.
dominating. We grew up when they were dominating in our earlier life.
Yeah.
And then they were horrible. And anyone you talk to was like, oh, the Phillies are, why are you even talking? They suck. The Phillies suck. Which they did. But now they're good. And they went to the World Series last year. And they lost. Yes, it stinks. And am I going to sit here and say, oh, getting to the NLCS and losing to the Diamondbacks doesn't hurt a lot? It hurts a lot. And I'm disappointed in the team and I'm mad at the team. But if you don't think that next
okay,
year,
Jim.
when pitchers
Tom.
and catchers get ready to go to spring training, if you don't think that I am going, let's go, Phils. This is the year. Let's go. I'm so excited. You're out of your mind. Because you know what? Come December, I'm going to go, oh my gosh, I need baseball back. And the only thing that's going to keep me going is the fact that they're going to sign a new pitcher. They're going to sign Aaron Nola back. They're going to find some way to add another base so that Rhys Hoskins can come back and play. They're going to find a way to rebuild, regroup, and get back out there and win a championship. And maybe it's not next year. Maybe it's not the year after, but they will win a championship in this Bryce Harper, Trey Turner era. And I'm saying it right now. They will be back, and they will be dominating it. They could win 100 games next year, and I will be excited for every single game. This is why we're sports fans. There's 30 teams in the league. Only one team wins. Getting to the NLCS, yes, the Diamondbacks, they underestimated them. They destroyed them 2 games, and then they kind of let off the gas. And that happens. But I am not going to go, I can't, no, not going to watch this team anymore. Yeah. That's stupid, and you're stupid if you do
I
that.
think there's obviously, there's a difference between last year and this year. Last year, you were like, let's all be honest, we were just happy we were there.
Yes.
And it just happened to take us to the World Series. So Game 6, we lost, and I was kind of just like, obviously, I'm disappointed that we lost, but it's like, I understand.
Right.
This year, every one of us expected them to win the World Series.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And so obviously, we're upset.
Yes.
But it's like, and you hear some of the players, like, I know Castellanos said something about, like, oh, well, I went to Arizona, my bat just went cold and whatever. And it's like, you make me want to feel for you, but, like, at the same time, like, you are the star. Like, that, I'm not just going to, I'm not going to be the person who's like, now I want to trade him and I'm not going to watch him, but, like, you just like, I'm not gonna.
Yes.
Also, I'm not just gonna be that fan that just like has so much pity that it's like, oh, he tried
Yeah,
hard.
no,
Like,
absolutely. Harper, Turner, Castellanos, Schwarber. I mean, Schwarber was out of his mind most of the NLCS.
oh yeah.
Realmuto was good.
I was a
Realmuto
huge
was-
fan of
yeah.
Realmuto.
Marsh stepped up in a big
Solid.
way. Bohm and Stott really didn't do anything all playoffs, except Bohm hit a home run and Stott had a home run, a grand slam against the Marlins, which, whatever. Like, they didn't do much. Those are the 2 I was most disappointed in, I think, because they didn't do anything last year either.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit like, all right, you didn't do anything last year. You got to start stepping up a little bit. Zach Wheeler, like, if
Oh
you're not
my
unbelievably just
gosh.
in love and so impressed with Zach Wheeler,
Absolute ace.
just absolute ace.
Dominant.
Yeah.
Absolute
And you know what?
ace.
And I'm not going to just roll over Nola had a bad game, 100%. But
Yeah.
he had a terrific playoffs.
Yes.
He had an unbelievable playoffs.
Especially his first couple games that he pitched were phenomenal.
He earned the love and respect that we all gave him that time. And yes, he had a bad outing, but he had a bad outing. Ranger Suarez was excellent this postseason.
Yeah.
He
He
threw a
was
gem in
excellent.
Game 3.
And he's going back into next year healthy. Lorenzen came out and pitched in relief, and he was really good.
Yeah.
Alvarado was very good. Craig Kimbrell is old, and he pitched more innings this year than he has ever pitched.
Yeah,
And that's what I think about Craig Kimbrell. That's just what I'm going to call him. Jeff Hoffman. I'm so excited to see him next year. Dominguez
Hoffman
kind of
was
picked it up this
solid.
year in the postseason. He was pretty solid.
There's like Nola was crazy. Like, he was really good. Never once did I ever not think, like, when Wheeler was in the game, never once did my confidence waver.
Not
I was
once.
gonna
He
say
could have
I
the
was
bases
nervous when
loaded.
Nola was in there.
Because
I
Nola's
was
been
very
bad the
nervous.
whole year. Like,
Yeah.
let's not
For
get
game
her
six.
beat
Buried
around the
lead there.
bush. She
Yeah,
was
exactly.
horrible this whole year.
All year.
But like, Wheeler, like, dude, he could have the bases loaded with no outs, and you still would have had.
And
the
up
confidence.
3-0 on him on
Like,
the pit
he
batter.
was that stinking good.
He was just dominant.
Oh, my quick 2 cents, because you guys kind of covered it to the max, but I'll just say, because I was hardcore into the Phillies, like you said, early on in 08, and then the years before that leading up to it, because I was 10 in 08. So I remember it very clearly. I remember Chase Utley, that whole squad that was like, you're never going to get this team again. Mm-hmm. And all I'll say is that, because again, like you guys just covered how pretty much we're all feeling about it. Mm-hmm. But coming from the side of, okay, so they lost, like whatever. So you want to be down on them, you want to be up on them, want to make excuses or not make excuses. Mm-hmm. It is so different from other sports, like say take basketball for example.
Yeah.
It is so different that it's a matter of momentum, it's a matter of who's hot at the time, and it's hard, honestly, like my take on it is like it's obviously infuriating when Harper does what he does last year and then in the most important games, he's just like literally doing nothing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I understand, like baseball is very different as opposed to other sports like Embiid, Harden, literally just could have tried harder and they probably would have won.
Right.
Get on the Phillies early next year because the team they have is exciting. They want to play with each other. They want to. Like, the energy is there, and it's going to be there all year long. And it's just, like, I feel like that's what's most important for baseball. Mm-hmm. Like, obviously, they have the skill. Yeah. So it's not like they're lacking that, and they need to get certain guys to kind of fill in any gaps that they have on their team. Like, they already have an unbelievably talented team. Yes. So it's like, what is most other teams lacking? Like, I don't want to say the Padres because that would be accurate. Right. Is like chemistry.
Chemistry and heart.
And that's what the Phillies have. Yeah. And I think that's literally the most important thing for baseball because it's a momentum and it's a energy type game. Like you just saw it, Bryce Harper, who's probably the most unbelievable playoff athlete we've seen, just did nothing. And it's like, why? It's not like he could have tried harder.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. Like, I completely agree with what you said, Jim, about like next year. Like, I'm 100% on board.
And that's
like,
not to say you shouldn't be mad. Sorry.
Totally. No, totally. But I'm just saying, like,
I'm just saying because I made it sound like
to
that.
always find the silver lining. Number one, at least you're not a Braves fan.
Oh.
Number two, like Rhys Hoskins just said it. Yeah. He's like, I would love to be back. There's nothing like playing for this team.
Yeah.
Like, if you have that around you, like culture is everything on a team. Yes, obviously your team could be terrible, but if you have great chemistry, obviously they have an amazing team. Like, what more could you ask for? And what more could you be looking forward to going into next year?
Yeah, and it's kind of like
we'll make this our last point, and then we'll move on.
Real quick,
ask you a question, though.
There's like obviously there's nothing that you like about this.
Yeah,
them losing, but like if there was. It's the fact the way that they all reacted. Mm-hmm. They didn't all go home like a bunch of egomaniacs and cry with themselves. Like they all were saying. Someone literally said what we just said. Last year was like we were happy to be there. This year they thought they were going to win. I want them to like I have I know they will come back next year with that taste in their mouth.
Trey Turner's not going to have is going to have a way better year than he had this year.
Yeah, that was his rusty year.
Yeah, this is his bad year.
Yeah, like, Bryce Harper had his rusty year.
Bryce Harper was hurt. And we knew he was going to be out for a few months. He's going to come in.
You never know.
Rojas is going to come back. He's going to get work on that bat during spring training. Well,
so and like depending on who they get,
we're kind of like the Padres. Like we're a bunch of
I know
we're like a bunch of egomaniacs that don't like each other.
Exactly.
But we're just forced to be on this podcast.
Exactly. You can have all the talent in the world.
Right. Is this your most heartbreaking Philly loss?
Yes.
Will? It's got to sit a little longer.
Go to Ian. Come back to me.
I will say, I believe that the Kawhi Leonard shot was more heartbreaking.
That was my debate.
At the moment.
I think I would have to say the Sixers.
Prediction out there for the Phillies next year?
Yes. Produce.
Schwarber's leading the NL in
Oh,
home runs.
I 100% agree with that.
I don't know if that's bold. I don't know that that's bold.
That's going to happen.
I mean, it is.
55 plus home runs.
That's bold,
and I like that.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm on board. But
he's going to hit over 200.
To answer your question, like I was battling with that instantly, so I think that's what I'm going to have to go with. Because instantly, the Kawhi shot came to mind.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the Phillies, but this is only their second time in 11 years. The Sixers, like, that was the year.
Yeah.
And
that
real
was
quick,
the year. And then
real quick, also, like, the Phillies was like, it's a baseball game. It's kind of a slow death.
Yeah.
That was Game 7, buzzer beating,
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
bunch
High
of
energy the whole
bounces. The bounces
Flyers
took like
2010.
the bounces.
Flyers 2010
The bounces. The bounces
Yeah.
took 15 minutes.
Yeah.
My
Flyers.
final answer is well, obviously it has to be at the moment. Kawhi Leonard was just devastating. The
Right.
Phillies, yes, I expected them to win the World Series, so it's very disappointing. And then the Eagles Super Bowl last year against the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Jim, that's a very, very, very,
Flyers
very
2010
true.
was worse for
Patrick
me.
Kane's goal, man.
Yeah,
that's,
that was worse.
That was literally our number one, right?
Yeah. That was
On
worse.
most disappointing.
This one was bad just because of our expectations. The other ones are bad just because it was like, are you serious?
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Kawhi shot.
Heartbreak. Yeah. I would say this is more like just really just kind of like deflating. Heartbreaking, I wouldn't say it's heartbreaking. Maybe.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
agree.
It
I
is
agree.
a
I
little
agree.
bit,
Yeah.
but
There's a lot of silver
I
linings.
understand what you mean.
All right. Now, that moves us into a more happy segment where we got it's optimistic for a new beginning. Sounds like a Jane Austen novel.
You want me to start this one since I,
I want
went
you to
last?
start it, yes.
Okay. Are we talking specifically about any Philly sport or like?
Optimistic about all the Philly sports.
Okay, the Eagles are absolutely dominant.
Yes.
Harden might be gone, so I'm optimistic for a new beginning.
Sixers
I'm
getting rid of
excited for
people?
that. The Flyers, I mean, couple games in, optimistic in a sense that they're all new guys. We're ready for like a new beginning, and I feel like that's a good thing because they're starting their rebuild. I mean, look at the Sixers. That worked out great. We're already 2 finals in. But with the Flyers, it's exciting because
Yeah.
new coach, new players, new season, and they're on a rebuild. So it is what it is.
The expectations are low.
And the Phillies next year are going to be in the same exact spot they were this year, except they're going to win in 5 against the Orioles.
The Orioles are not making it back to the
Bold
postseason.
prediction.
Eagles, dude.
No. Oh, that's a bold prediction.
What?
He just bold predicted that the Orioles will not make it to the postseason.
I would almost second that.
That is ridiculous. They're definitely making.
No, they're
with the
not.
talent they have, they're definitely.
This year,
We're being bold, okay?
Okay, be bold.
that
but
is
you-
very bold.
Okay, hold up.
No, I have a better bold one in my optimism because
Yeah.
I'm gonna be optimistic. Okay.
Okay, do it.
So
Do it.
it'll come a little later.
Oh, well, we're
The
all ready
Eagles.
for
Well, I need to
optimism.
start with the Eagles
Okay.
because we don't even need to talk about them. They're so
Yes, you
stinking
do.
dumb. No, we don't.
Give them
Do
the
it.
praise they deserve. They just played the best game of their season against the Dolphins.
Exactly.
I have
Against
something to
Tua.
say. I have something to say. now.
Against
Tua, who's
the
banned
third-
against good
the
teams.
third best quarterback in the league.
Tua, who's
Oh my
banned against
gosh.
good teams.
Watch our
Dude,
last episode
but
to see
dude,
why we're
Don't
saying
How good
forget,
Tua is.
Josh Allen, who's even better, lost to Mac Jones.
Who's the 4th best quarterback in the
You know what's
league?
actually really funny is Tua lost to Josh Allen. And he threw for 280 yards
Mac-
and 2 picks. And Josh Allen threw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Oh, what?
And lost to the Patriots.
Anyway.
So
Get to your optimism.
all right, optimism. Sixers, all right? Harden is shipped out immediately.
Yes.
Optimism, bold prediction.
They're starting tonight and he's still in the
So we will have 2 max slots next year, max contract slots. Klay Thompson will join the Sixers. He is.
Bold.
There's a big gap
Bold.
between him and the Warriors right now on extension. He's not going to want to join a rebuilding team, and the only other team that can give him the money, from what I think, that also gives him a chance at a finals is the Sixers. And why would you not want to come play with Maxey, and why would you not want to come play with Embiid?
It's very true.
Other than when they give up in Game 7.
Well, that's hard.
Flyers
And
to get
Ben
to the
Simmons.
Flyers. To get to the Flyers, I've jumped on board. I'm very excited, and they're playing pretty good coming out the gates.
They're
They're playing better than I thought they were going
yeah?
to.
There you go.
Jake, optimism for a new beginning.
With the Eagles, you're saying they're absolutely dominating. They dominated last game. They haven't dominated as much.
Optimism for a new beginning.
That's what I'm saying.
But
they're going.
everyone-
They're
They're
going.
going back to the Super Bowl. Like, we all know
Yeah.
that. And they're probably going to win.
Is this another Phillies
Stop.
situation?
Debo Samuel is scary.
That's true. And Brock Purdy is the best quarterback in the league.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Brock Purdy
He has
doesn't
system,
have
robot.
doesn't have like a high-end quarterback type name.
Yes. Also,
doesn't
he's hurt, and
sound like a
Sam Darnold's probably going to play this
quarterback.
week.
Yeah, but they won't skip a beat.
Darnold's
Sam
gonna do a
Darnold.
Nick Foles.
Because he's been doing a lot in the
Yeah.
NFL.
And they're not going to get to the playoffs and need a third, fourth, fifth, and
Jake,
sixth
the Flyers.
quarterbacks.
How do you
the
feel?
Flyers, I'm very on board. I'm very excited. I'm planning to pay a lot more attention to hockey this year.
This
with
would
the
become a
Sixers-
hockey podcast.
With the Sixers, I don't know if I can get myself to pay attention to them.
Really? I want to, like, the game just started, I want to watch.
They maybe started already for their season opener tonight. I have no plans whatsoever to watch.
Well,
them.
they're getting ready to play the greatest super
They
team
already
of all
started.
time.
That's kind of why you guys
And I
want to
wanna
watch,
watch.
isn't it? Because
Like-
of the Bucks.
No, but no, to be honest, do you know what I want to? Why I want to watch? Because we're
Giannis.
finally seeing Maxey and Embiid with none of that big eyeball person with the big beard.
Oh, okay.
No,
Santa
he is
Claus.
scary.
Yeah, but
He is
for the
scary.
Phillies, they're going to be the same spot
I
this
agree.
year.
All right.
Jake,
That's
question real quick. Who did you say wasn't going to make the postseason?
The Orioles.
The Orioles.
Oh, okay. All right, go
Like a
ahead.
dummy.
He doesn't hate the Orioles. He's just making a bold prediction.
I know.
No,
it's
I
dumb.
actually don't think they're going to make it.
He doesn't like the Orioles. Anyway,
I would
optimism
always
for a
say-
new beginning. The Phillies this year are going to sign Dylan Cease. We all know that, right?
Okay.
Right? And they're going to re-sign Nola. So it's fine. It's good.
That would be annoying because then they would automatically win the World Series.
Exactly. So even though their pitching wasn't the issue in the postseason. Anyway, and I'm excited for the Phillies next year, but they're literally just ended. So whatever. The Eagles, very excited about Kevin Byard. Very
Yeah,
excited about Kevin
very.
Byard. Like, that really helps the defense.
People are saying
on the
they
back
reminded
end.
them of Malcolm Jenkins.
Yes, and
a good
Reed
sign.
Blankenship
It's high
and him on
praise.
the back end really gonna be good. And they're saying that Howie Roseman is not done. He's been calling about a
He's
lot.
never done.
He's never done.
Never done.
And I think that's where I'm at right now is with Philly teams, and it's the Flyers too. Is they have Danny Briere, who's been excellent as a GM, of
course.
Yes.
and Keith Jones, who's been really good as the president of hockey operations. Dave Dombrowski is excellent.
Yes.
Howie Roseman is the best GM in any sport.
Agreed, wholeheartly. That's not
I
a bold
don't know a
prediction.
ton about the Sixers. It sounds like they always have off-season
They have a
drama.
lot.
I was gonna say
Liar.
Daryl
Yeah.
Morey is a liar.
Exactly. So, but people have high praise for him. So I'm good with our management situation. Like I'm very excited because those guys are known to do what needs to be done to win. The Flyers, I'm very excited about this year. I'm learning a lot about the young kids that are playing. Morgan Frost is probably gonna be gone because he's been a healthy scratch for every game.
Yeah.
Bobby Brink has looked really good. Their defense is young, but they haven't been horrible. That's when I was worried about was their defense. Sean Couturier is back. Cam Atkinson is back, and he's on a tear right now. Travis Konechny is very good, and he's going to prove that he's one of the better players in the league. Carter Hart is going to have a Vezina, maybe not win it, but he's going to have a Vezina-like season.
That's
because
bold. That's bold.
That's
Okay.
a bold statement, I know.
right.
So I'm very excited.
He hasn't
The
really-
Sixers, I don't really know.
All right, over under 35 wins for the Flyers.
Over.
Okay, wait. I'll have to think about that one.
Wait, they
82
play 82 games,
82
right?
games.
35 wins over or under. Jeff,
What was
are
their
you-
record last year?
I don't even know. 40,
Okay.
53 or something.
If they got 53 last year, then I'm going to say over.
Even though they're
Say over.
they're gonna have a sneaky
Yes, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, I kind of
They're
agree
better
too.
than I think people are giving them credit
They're ahead of their due date.
for. Yeah. I think that's over, but maybe not by a ton. Maybe 50 is their ceiling, I would say.
Yeah.
But 50 is a lot.
I was going to say, that's over 500. They might make the playoffs.
Yeah. I think in March and February, it's gonna be like they could realistically make the playoffs, and then they're not there.
Jeff, can you write this
By the
down? That I'll say under.
Under.
All right.
Just to be
Under 35.
just to take the opposing
To be
side.
clear, you said about like the praise for Daryl Morey.
Yeah.
It's more or less just he's always the one making the giant trades.
Right,
So
right.
you just hear that about him.
Right. But he's not Dave Dombrowski or
No,
Harry
no,
Roseman.
no.
Right. All right, that moves us on, right? We're all done with optimism?
Yep.
We're done with the optimism.
We're done.
We're done.
We don't
Pissed
like
off the
we
rest
don't
of the
like
episode.
being
No,
positive.
absolutely
Being
not. Because
annoying.
Thursday Night Football is tonight. We're going to... What?
Who said under and who said over?
I'm the
said
only one
over.
that said under.
we all
He said under. We're going to move on to another segment called What's Happening in the Sports World? Because there's a lot happening outside of Philly. Number one being that Josh Allen had a bad week against the Patriots, but he's going to play tonight. He's going to play tonight and be.
Josh Allen and Tua are actually going to come on and they're going to fight.
Yes.
Dude, that'd be
100%.
Listen, if we can get Josh Allen to see this,
call him Josh.
come on and make your point for why you're better than Tua.
I will continue to make points for you.
Yes.
Until you come on.
From now on,
And wear a Hawaiian necklace to taunt Tua.
Yes.
From now on, we can just call him Josh. People will know what we're talking about.
He's as good as Josh. He's playing tonight.
He is.
So
That's beautiful.
it's perfect.
That's prediction.
Against the Bucs.
Prediction.
up.
He
Yeah.
loses to the Buccaneers.
If he loses to Baker Mayfield,
If
No.
he loses to Baker Mayfield, there's got to be something that happens.
He'll lose to Baker Mayfield.
No,
No,
listen,
he already has
if
a
he
pretty
actually
big-
does lose
he
to
already
Baker
has.
Mayfield, there will be a lot of noise in Buffalo. Not about like trading Josh Allen. That's not going to
I
happen.
think he throws for
but
over
there will
300
be there
yards
will
and
be a
3
lot of
touchdowns.
noise in Buffalo.
I mean, at that point, you got 4 losses.
300 yards and
That's
3 losses.
4. They just had their 3rd loss, correct?
I think they
had
had
Against
their
the
second
Patriots.
loss. I thought they had their second loss.
Jeff,
That
can you
might have
check
been their
that?
second.
But either way, yeah. I mean, I agree.
I think he's going to throw for over 300 yards and have 3 touchdowns, and they're going to
I got
dominate.
something in the sports world that the NBA officially started. I feel this year is so different because
Bills are 4-3 right now.
okay, so tonight will be their 4th loss. The NBA just started, and it's so different than last year because last year we were on a Phillies high till
Yeah.
like freaking opening day because the World Series happened, and it was just like, holy crap, this was a crazy run.
Yeah.
But now it's like we can just hop right on the Flyers and Sixers and the Bucks and all the other NBA teams, and I'm just excited for the NBA season to start because I'm going to be locked in this year.
Yeah,
Quick question. So Victor Wembanyama made his debut.
I saw that. He's had the exact same stat line as
Did I make-
Duncan did for the Spurs in his
So
debut.
he
the
actually-
exact same.
He said
15
in a
points, 2
bold
rebounds,
prediction.
and was 6 for 9 shooting. The
so he
exact
made
same.
in a previous episode said that he will not be what everyone thinks he's going to be. I'm starting to believe that he is going to be that guy.
Listen,
Wait,
I'm
what?
I'm totally fine
Victor
with him
Wembanyama.
doing that. I'm just how many times
Like,
have we heard the same story?
I understand, but
And
like,
it's-
dude,
Chet Holmgren.
he's
Don't
very
overlook.
he's
He
very
just got
small.
put on the ground by Andre Drummond.
I'll
He did.
double my
Did you see
prediction
that?
for
Makes
Chet
sense.
Holmgren.
Andre
yes.
Drummond dropped. All right, get back to Wemby.
Yeah, go ahead.
So he's very frail.
Yeah.
So that's my concern. But like, dude, he's 7'4" and he dribbled through someone's legs on a fast break in preseason.
Let me ask you a question with basketball. Why is it that we just got both sides of the spectrum? Zion Williamson was the best player to ever come since LeBron, but he's way too big. And now it's Victor Wembanyama, but he's way too small. It's like, pick a
Because,
lane.
Jim.
Be right in the middle.
Because Zion is just an actually like normal heighted person.
Yeah.
And he's just overeats and admits to it because he said he just like doesn't care.
Right.
Wembanyama is 7'4".
That's
You
crazy.
can't
It
really
could be
put
taller
on weight
than
at that point
He-
very easily.
During the
That's
draft,
insane.
they all kept saying that he needed to like beef up and stuff,
Yeah.
and they kept talking to him about it. And he told them they need to skinny up. I'm like,
fair.
that's not. I don't think that's the approach. But
Yeah.
like,
I'm just tired of the hype train and hopping on it.
No reason, but I kind of agree with Wemby.
But I'm
Jeff
just
is the
tired of.
smallest person in any room.
I'm tired of the hype train in the NBA because
Yeah.
like even the guys that have actually proven themselves, like Devin Booker, like Bradley Beal, just go for like an older
Giannis.
guy. Giannis. Well, Giannis is.
he was
Giannis
Wembanyama's
is-
son.
I
He was
know,
as
but
thin as
Giannis-
Wembanyama when
Yeah.
he came in.
And that
But Giannis was not hyped up like Wembanyama
No,
was.
that's what I'm saying. I'm
And
just
he
saying.
doesn't. Giannis doesn't have the skill that Wembanyama is supposed to have.
See,
No, no.
Wembanyama,
They were saying-
the comparison is Kristaps Porzingis, and Porzingis was like good for 3.5 minutes.
Wembanyama is.
Did you see him on the
It's
Celtics last
same-
night, though? I heard he had a
it's
very good game.
It's
30
the same
points.
story.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I'm totally down with it happening, but I refuse to get on the hype train and then just be like,
I feel like,
Like, why?
I feel like it's
I-
very different compared to hockey. Whereas like when Connor McDavid was coming up, everyone was like, Connor McDavid is
He's
the next.
gonna dominate.
He's gonna be the greatest hockey player ever, and he's pretty much consistently been. People have said Nathan McKinnon, and like that's why like Connor Bedard, he's come up and he's already. Like everyone's like, okay, yeah, he's obviously was the number
Yeah.
one pick.
Well, the thing-
that's why I'm like excited. Like hockey is very rare. It happens, but it's very rare that you have a bust.
Yeah,
that's
because-
that's hyped as much as like these guys you're talking about in the NBA.
I was thinking about it today when I thought about like Wembanyama is like, it's so weird. Like the NBA, you get so hyped up for the draft, and there's like
Right.
all these good players. And then you go back to think about it, and like one or maybe two turn out to be great.
Right.
Exactly
And,
my
like,
point.
And
It's
like
usually
rest
not the
of them are
guys
just,
you
like-
think.
Like half the time, like the third, like normally it just seems like a lot of times, like the third, fourth, fifth, sixth pick. It's just like 3 years later, you like don't even know who they are.
Well,
And it's like, how does that happen?
Yeah,
I
like,
think that's
Exactly my point.
You go, Jay.
But I
Andrew
don't-
Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins hyped up the same way.
Dude, literally, I promise you. I was thinking about that, and he came to my head. I'm like,
Andrew
he's
Wiggins
not
was,
great. He's
was
just
taken
good.
number 1 overall. It's like he's going to be a transcendent player, and he's like a role player on the Warriors.
RJ Barrett.
Exactly.
Anthony
exactly.
Bennett.
And Wembanyama is the same story. It's only different because he's 7'4". You know who else was 7'4"? Taco Fall. Kristaps Porzingis.
Okay, but at the same
Like-
time, Wembanyama has a sweet stroke.
True.
And
He
he's
dribbles like a guard.
really
when
good
he's
defensively,
7'4".
like extremely good
True, but
defensively.
most NBA shooters have a sweet stroke, but none of them will ever touch Curry.
Okay, but
And, like-
none of them can block Wembanyama because he's shooting above his head at 7'4".
So we'll see. But that's what I'm saying is I don't think
Here's
it's going
the
to
big
pan
question,
out.
though: can they danky pass the D-man and snipe a top cheese over the tendy shoulder?
Yes, because if basketball players put on skates, they could probably learn to play hockey in 6 months. Who said that?
That was Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, dang it. Football
Jalen
player.
Ramsey.
Okay.
And then he put on skates with PK Subban and he couldn't even stand up. That was the best.
what a
Well,
great-
NBA
That's why
players
I
are tough like NHL players.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I think.
My favorite thing about hockey is, and Pat McAfee is talking about it
The
a lot.
refs?
He's the refs.
I know.
Literally last night,
He loves hockey
missed a
refs.
call. The guy missed a call or whatever, got in the one guy's way, and he's like, "Oh, I owe you a beer." While they're playing
they're
the
skating.
game, he goes, "Oh, I owe you a beer." The ref says this to the player.
He
He got in his
he
way.
skated in the player's way, and he's like, "Get out of the way." He's like, "Oh no, I owe you a beer. I owe you a beer." As they're going,
And like Pat McAfee says it all the time, it's like the fights is like, it's not like they get in each other's face and then they go to the locker room and it's like 5 or 6 months and they're talking about this person. He's like, they drop the mitts, they go at it, they punch each other in the face, and they're like, "Oh, good fight." If you ever hear like a mic'd up after a fight, they're so funny because they're always like, "Screw you, screw you, screw you." "Oh, good fight, man. Oh yeah, no, you're great. I really respect you." It's like you just punched each other in the face for 3 seconds and now all of a sudden you're best friends. But yeah, like I said, like Kyle Yakupov is probably like. Is it Yakupov? I think from the Oilers.
Oh, no.
That was the last guy who was drafted in the
Is that like a
NHL. That
spray
was
paint
like,
brand?
dude,
Yakupov?
hockey players have legitimately the strangest names of all
Like
time.
And the
even the
strangest
Flyers
interviews.
do.
Yes.
Even the Flyers do. Matt
come off the ice in the
Matt
second
Michko.
intermission.
But that's like super Russian. But like even like there's a guy. What's his name? But there's-
Exactly. I
Dude,
say
the
that
weird
every
names.
time I see their names.
Exactly.
and they have weird names like Nick Paul.
Dan.
Dude,
That's
that
what's
is
weird.
the
If you always hear
weirdest
it's like
name ever.
Steven Stankov, Nikita Kucherov, Victor Hedman, Nick Paul.
Ilya Kovalchuk.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Craig McKay.
Craig McKay.
That's the best one. The best one is
Yeah.
Craig McKay.
Ilya Brizgalov. Like what? But I mean, across the sports world, did you guys hear about Micah Parsons and what he said about the Eagles?
No, I did not.
No, I didn't.
He
Inform
was
me.
All
on
the
his
headlines.
podcast.
Inform me.
He was on the podcast and said that the Eagles have no weaknesses.
He said they're the best team in the NFL.
They're the best team in the NFL. But here's the thing:
thought
he
you were
made
gonna
a
say
top
something
5
bad.
list.
Yes.
He made a top 5 list.
Guess who wasn't on there?
Wait a second.
There are
Top
two
5
teams.
for what?
NFL
Did he
teams.
not
best-
pick up
okay.
one?
There are
best
2
team.
Can I
teams
guess
not
them?
on there.
Can I
There are
guess
2
them?
teams on there. You can guess
We'll
them.
guess and then I'll guess.
All right. No particular order.
Yeah, just guess.
Yeah.
Okay,
These 2 teams.
okay.
Guess. You're gonna guess the 5.
Okay.
Or are you guessing
Or
the
no.
5 or the 2 that aren't on the team?
I'm guessing the 5.
Okay.
Okay.
Are.
Okay, go.
Okay. So I'm gonna say easily the Eagles and Niners.
Go number 1. Go number
Okay,
1 through 5.
Number 1 Eagles. Number 2 Niners. Number 3 has got to be the Chiefs. Number 4 has actually not as got to be because they haven't been dominant.
They just
number
dominated
4
last
I'm
year.
gonna say the Dolphins. And number 5 I'm gonna say the Lions.
All right, hold on. I'm gone.
Niners aren't on there probably.
I was
because
just
he's
gonna
scared
say. I
of
was just
them.
gonna say.
All right,
I
here's your
said
5.
Eagles number 1, Chiefs 2. Cowboys 3.
Because he's a Cowboys player and
Yeah,
he's on the Cowboys.
obviously. Dolphins 4 and Bengals 5.
No. The Cowboys are not on the list, and the Chiefs are not on the list.
Okay, so
Not even in the top 5. Listen,
Who
if you
made
want
it
to make
on the list? What's the list?
so it's the Eagles,
Niners,
Dolphins, Ravens,
and
or no, maybe not the Ravens.
The Lions
Ravens
have
better
to be.
not
The
be.
Lions
No,
are
the
like
Lions
arguably.
got destroyed by the Ravens.
yeah.
True.
They got
His explanation
annihilated.
for the Chiefs not being on there
True.
were that they're a very well coached team with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce's amazing connection, but they don't have the talent of the Eagles.
Okay, but that's fine. That's fine. But it's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
Didn't they just win the Super Bowl and go to the championship like the
Yes.
last 5 years?
Yes, if you're leaving the Chiefs off that top 5 list, you're insane.
The
That's
Chiefs
what-
are a franchise.
Here's
like,
what's even crazier.
They're,
Or,
they're
whatever,
practically
a
a dynasty right
Here's-
now.
Dynasty at this
Here's
point.
what's
Well,
even
they are a
crazier.
franchise.
Here's what's even crazier. He plays for the Dallas Cowboys, and they're not on a top 5
Yeah,
list.
but I think that's accurate.
Okay, but he plays for the. I
I
don't
know,
care.
but I think he's just being real. Like
I-
he's number one rival
I
is the
love that.
Eagles.
I love that so much.
that's
When
so,
people are
like,
real.
Listen,
Like,
listen. You
I
can be
I
real.
can't hate on that.
If you were on the Cowboys, you wouldn't put them in the top 5 list.
If-
Where they
if-
are right now, they have one loss.
They have a chance. The thing
They
is,
have
is
one loss,
two
and they're
losses.
two
But-
losses.
Niners,
Oh, they lost.
Niners.
Yep.
The thing is, I think it's like the part that surprised me is like they had like it wouldn't be that absurd if he put them.
If he put the Cowboys in there,
like
that's what
to
I'm saying.
us it would be, but like they're a good team.
Honestly,
So,
I
like,
would put them in there probably.
I wouldn't.
Maybe.
Top 5?
Maybe.
Who are you kicking out? Because here's the top 5
Dolphins?
easily for me.
Eagles.
Eagles, Niners, Chiefs, Lions.
I'm not putting the Lions in there right now.
Really?
No.
I think
I'm putting
you
the
can have
Ravens
a
over
bad
the
game.
Lions.
I think you can have a
No.
bad
Yeah,
game.
I'm putting the Ravens over the
Okay,
Lions because
I
their
had this-
defense is excellent.
Yeah, I
Okay,
just
but
had
the
this
Ravens,
list.
the Ravens had a lot of bad games
I was
and
just
one
gonna
good
say, they
game.
had
The
one good
Lions
game.
had a
No,
lot of good
but
games.
they've had a few good games.
Okay, the Lions only have one bad.
Yeah, but the
game.
Lions
Like,
have been like
Agreed.
very good.
Agreed. But the one bad game was getting destroyed.
I know, but I think that's better than
I know, but if you're
Having
Okay,
like
but
a-
the Eagles
if you're
just
a
got
top
lost to the Jets.
if you're a top 5 team and you get destroyed,
yeah, but every team
I
in the
don't think
NFL
that
is
you-
an NFL team.
Agreed. But if you get destroyed, like the Broncos got absolutely like they're a disgrace and they have to be last in the league because they got destroyed by the Dolphins. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
getting destroyed in the NFL isn't like getting destroyed in college. It's like, well, there's this like it takes a lot to get absolutely annihilated
Speaking
in the
of
NFL.
college, our college team is currently under investigation.
Yes, I love.
actually
My
kinda
favorite
funny.
thing in the world is that Will is becoming a Michigan fan this year, and it is mired in controversy.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, it's
So-
mired in
You
controversy
can't
and
just
cheating.
make those assumptions, Jim.
Well,
We
it's
can't
called
help.
becoming an.
We can't help. We can't help that our coaching staff is actually smart at football. And they actually try to win the
Guys,
games.
Exactly.
guys, that's a Houston Astros fan saying, "Oh, we can't help it if our guys want an edge."
That shit is not.
Be quiet,
I
quiet.
realize I'm against the Michigan fans. I know.
No, listen. Other college football coaches have spoke up in defense of him.
I think.
JJ Watt
And-
has, and he's a Badger. He said
A lot of
it's
people
called
have.
scouting, and I'm a Badger.
A lot of people have done it, and not have done it at meaning like they have spoken up again for
Just
him.
real fast, just to be clear, JJ Watt is a human. He meant like he was on the team. The
Yeah,
Badgers.
he's not an
Deion
actual
Sanders
Badger.
played baseball and football. He said that if you were to steal a sign in baseball, it would be a lot more helpful
Yes.
than in football. In football, you still have to stop it, even if you know the play. Baseball, you know a curveball's coming. Like
Yeah.
you
wait on that curveball.
You're just gonna destroy that pitch or let it go because you know it's
Yeah,
fly
It's
away.
like the
Jose,
brotherly shove.
Altuve.
Everyone knows it's
Now,
coming. No
it's-
one can stop
for
it.
how much attention it's getting and how like it just keeps news
Yeah.
just keep coming
Yeah,
right
it's
away.
just
Normally,
media trying to.
no, but like normally, like when stuff happens like this, it's like you hear it and you don't hear about it till the very end. Like more stuff just keeps coming, so it's starting to like get at
Scary.
me like that. Like, because listen, if you become a Michigan fan this year, perfect year. I really like this. Everyone
could be
keeps
the
saying.
year.
Everyone keeps saying that they hate that this is coming out. Like all the people that are backing them up.
Yeah.
Because if they do win, it's gonna be
Mired
because
in
you cheated
controversy.
or
Yeah.
you could have been cheating. And
Okay,
it's
let
just
me
like-
ask you this. If it comes out that they are cheating, how do you feel about the year?
So, I will still like if they win. Obviously, I'm still going to be extreme.
Right.
I will just have a little bit of me that's like
That's
like,
an asterisk.
We really had to like do that like
Yeah.
that. Well, I don't
But
because I don't think we have to do that. I think we are number 2 or number 1 best team in the country.
Right.
I just don't like that. That's a rule in it in college. Like it's illegal in the NFL, and
But it's a rule.
yeah, I agree. If it's a
That's-
rule, you should be punished.
Yes.
Okay,
But
what my
if
dad
after
said.
if they do get punished, and after this punishment, it should not be a rule anymore.
What my dad said that to say stick up for the rule is that the bigger colleges have more money to spend on scouts. But
It's an excellent
okay.
I'm a
Like
bigger college.
okay.
Be better and make more money.
point. Be wealthier.
So you're all this realignment. Have the bigger colleges play each other
Yeah.
more. Or just like it's common sense that if Michigan goes and plays Bowling Green, they're going to destroy Bowling Green, whether they know what's coming or not.
What they should, what
Like,
they really should
let's
do.
just be honest here. You're good at like any of these top 15 colleges are going to destroy every one of these lesser colleges that they
Yeah.
play until they get to the
Why
bigger
don't they
games
do
anyway.
why don't they do like tiers where if you're not on this tier, you don't play the other team?
Because it doesn't give the lower tiers any chance.
And it's,
Yeah, but-
there already basically is
Like
no
you
chance.
need an opportunity to upset or grow from the position that you're in.
Yeah, but you can do tiers and have you upset from that tier. Like you can still play the other tier, but not as much.
Well, because
that's
to
how
get
it
into the
is.
playoffs, there's a committee that judges. You could be the best record.
We're actually that committee.
You could be the best
Yeah, it's
record,
actually us.
but you're not going to get in.
Right, yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's strength of schedule.
Right.
So that's why they have to play.
I love that. That's my favorite thing in the
and
world.
they get the teams
play-
kind of get
Mr. Universe. 5 Italian guys in Manhattan.
Yeah, literally, it's so funny because literally you sit there, you play, and you fight, and like 3 guys are in a room, and they're like, "Nah, we think this guy should go."
Well,
Because it was a little
Dan's
harder.
an Ohio State fan.
One thing
so-
I didn't really realize like that much, but like you kind of decide your own opponents.
Right.
Like you like come in agreement with other colleges to play them over the next few
Really?
years. Yeah, that's what my dad was saying because there was the Penn State coach was like saying like that like different teams
Franklin.
don't play anyone and this.
Yeah.
And I asked my dad about it and he said it's kind of like if Michigan were for their out of conference games, they'll like sign a contract or whatever, make a deal with say like North Carolina to play them like they'll play here and then we'll play there for the next 3 years and then that's
I
how
think
it
that's
goes.
what Temple and
sounds
Miami
super
did.
weird.
I think
So,
this is
so
like the first.
I guess it's like to help you build up your strength of schedule, but also help you get a better record.
That
I
kind
don't know.
of hinders me from getting into college football because like I'm not sure what happens. Like I don't know what's
like
going
I
on.
think I think this is the first year Temple plays Miami in a long
Right.
time or
'Cause,
something.
like,
It's
if
just-
we're-
I think they made a contract
Right.
recently.
Even
or
in the
something.
NBA, if you're like, hey, what are this playoff standings? Like I could look at them and be like, oh, that's what's going on. And I look at like the college football, I'm like, why is that team number 1? Well, strength of schedule. It's like, what didn't they play them? And it's like,
Well,
well,
all because of those rankings.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
You
super,
beat a number
definitely-
5 team, it's a whole different thing
Yeah.
than being number 10 team.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it's super confusing and dumb.
it's, listen, once you get into it, dude, I
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
like, that's
It
why
is
we're doing this whole
awesome.
Going to
documentary.
a game, just a college game, doesn't have to be Michigan. The atmosphere would be crazy.
Absurd.
Yeah.
Absurd.
What else is happening in the sports world? Connor Bedard is doing pretty well.
Yes.
Ian got a jersey of his, which I do not approve of. But it's not like he got a Patrick Kane jersey, so I'm coming to grips with it.
Okay, also, to defend myself,
Do it. Defend yourself.
I wasn't, okay, I was alive when the Blackhawks did this to the
But
Flyers.
he wasn't really alive.
But I wasn't really alive. Like, I was only 4 years.
That's true.
Okay?
To
So I
be
didn't even
fair,
know-
to me, it's like rooting for the Astros or for
It's like rooting for the
the,
Warriors.
the Warriors. Yes. Yes. The
Well,
Warriors
to
are
be
the best.
completely honest,
Back
I
then-
root for the Warriors.
back
You're dumb.
back
completely
then,
honest, like
back then.
I would have rooted for the Astros over the Diamondbacks this year if it was that World Series.
Same.
I would not have.
If I watched,
I definitely would not have.
I can't root. I'm rooting for the Rangers hard.
Dude, me
like I
too.
want them to sweep
I
and
do not
dominate.
hate the Diamondbacks.
I do 100%.
Like after that series,
despise the Diamondbacks.
I looked back at the games and I was like, I'm kind of really glad that there was no situations that I was like really actually that annoyed with any individual player.
Also, I really respected it. Brandon Pfaadt was reading the Bible right before he came out and took him out.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That was
like,
crazy.
That was cool. I was like,
did
okay.
you see that?
I
There's a
just
picture of him
I
sitting
didn't,
there.
but I have mixed
Did you see
feelings
what they
on
did?
that sometimes.
Did you see what they did?
Like, is
I
it
just,
just for show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why sometimes when they
Yeah, but you don't know.
I don't. That's why I'm saying I have mixed
Yeah.
feelings. Like sometimes
Yeah.
when they come out and like the players like
Yeah.
kneel down and take a prayer, it's like maybe that's a good thing. Like,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I don't
You know
want
who
you to
gave me
just be
that
doing
vibe
it. Just
was what's it? The Broncos. What's his name? Tim Tebow. He always gave me that vibe.
a lot
like,
of like
that's
every
kinda
time
your
I see
thing.
it, it's like
Yeah.
I get
But
that vibe. Like
It's hard to
Yeah,
judge.
but what I was gonna say is, did you see what they did after? They planted a flag at Citizens Bank, and they were celebrating in the locker. This is what's really gonna get. They were celebrating in the locker room to dreams and nightmares.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but I don't know that players outside of Philly even know that that's like the
Oh, yes,
Eagles
they
song.
do.
I don't think so.
It's the Philly
no,
anthem.
not really. No, it's not.
They were playing it because
Well,
they
I
beat the
think
we're
what
Phillies.
we
using
learned,
that
They beat
before
it.
the Eagles
They
Super Bowl.
beat the Phillies, and they were playing it in Philly.
I think what we learned though
Absolutely.
is we just need to hope to be the third wild card because
I
then
know.
you're guaranteed a World Series.
2 wild cards this year in the World Series.
No, what you have to do? You have to beat the Brewers.
Or you can
Did you
get
see that stat?
No, but I mean, we
Every
were the
team
third.
that's
I
beat
just
the
meant that we
Brewers
were the
made it
third
to
wild
the
card
World
I know.
last year.
Every team that beat the Brewers in the playoffs has made it to the World Series, and like 6 out of the 9
Or-
have won it.
the other option is get first place and then you're out right away, and then you
Yeah,
don't have to
yeah.
be worried about it for too long.
Or beat the Diamondbacks.
That's a fair point. That's hard.
But
that's hard
I
to
love
argue.
that Mets. There's a SNY, which is the network that the Mets are on. Literally put out a thing saying we discuss at 6:00 whether we'd rather have had the Mets season or the Phillies season.
Oh,
and
well,
they're
the Phillies
Braves
actually made it to the
and they're
championship
the Braves
series. I don't know
fans
if
going, oh yeah, oh. Listen, the Diamondbacks fans can go off.
Yeah.
Rangers fans can go off. Any number of teams can go off. If we beat you in the series before,
the legs that you had to stand
the
on
legs
are gone.
are
They're cut off.
not even just cut off like at the ankles.
Stand up, show
Yes,
like
cut off.
It's
like,
right here.
Yes,
it's
all
gone. There's nothing.
Your entire lower body
just
is
there.
gone.
You're literally a torso and arms.
And the Mets, come on, you were out of the playoffs before the trade
Hold
deadline.
up. The biggest bust in sports history.
Yes, is that whole team?
Over the Padres.
Yes.
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 Okay, but here's the thing. At least the
would say
Padres
so.
stuck with it, tried to make it the playoffs, and just
Fair.
missed the playoffs.
Fair.
The Mets gave up. Screw the Mets.
So this
We
was
hate the
all
Mets.
part of me defending getting a jersey.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
I forgot about that.
I just wanted to forget about
to
it.
me, like I said, I wasn't like conscious yet
Yeah.
when that happened. So to me, it was just like I'm getting his jersey because I
'Cause you
liked how he
wanted-
played, not because he was on the Blackhawks.
I get it.
I agree.
We are going.
Which I would hate that if someone said that about a team that I don't like. Like,
Around
just
since,
because he was on
since
the
it's the
but-
World Series coming up, can we all do a prediction for the series?
I say Rangers in 4. Rangers in 6.
Rangers in
Diamondbacks in
5.
7.
I literally was gonna say exactly what Jacob just said.
Diamondbacks in 7.
Yes, because the Diamondbacks, I think they have that same grit that the Phillies have.
Okay, I will say this.
Okay.
Okay, you say that.
The Rangers,
The
same
Rangers.
deal.
If the Rangers
know.
just no. What I'm saying is if the Rangers have the same thing as the Phillies and just close it off in Game
Yeah.
4, then you don't have to do like.
Agreed.
Then the Diamondbacks' grit isn't a thing.
No. Yeah. They didn't steal a
Absolute
base till Game
Factual
6.
statements have been made. I'm gonna roll Diamondbacks in 7.
Diamondbacks in 7. Diamondbacks in 7. Rangers in 5. Rangers in 6.
I said 5, so I'll stick
Oh,
with
5.
it.
Yeah.
All right.
So-
All right,
okay.
so we got teams going.
Yeah.
right
We
now.
literally are the same. We're
Okay.
the same.
Stop.
Yeah.
Now, be quiet.
We're the
Man,
best.
Uncle Jim.
We should come up.
Dude, and Tua and Josh Allen are in the same division, and now we're in the same team. And
We're the same person.
But like
We-
that doesn't
yeah.
even You're morphing into the same person.
We're going on to our last segment, which is actually going to include everyone who's watching right now, no matter what
You
time you're watching.
specifically.
You
You.
specifically.
Are you
The-
talking about them?
my phone? My phone. The people inside of my phone.
Okay.
But this is our message to the fans. This is not the only new thing that's happened. And this is not a permanent thing. This is just getting you used to the fact that we're going to have a table. We're going to have a nice new setup back here. We're going to have a logo behind us.
Working on it.
We're working on it. What I wanted to say mostly is we thank you for everyone who's subscribed. We thank you greatly. We're living our dream right now, being able to do this stuff. We love doing it. We're only going to get bigger. With Lord willing, we're going to get better. We are going to add more segments. We're going to be adding more fun stuff to do. We're going to have more mic'd ups. Listen, we're going on a journey here, and we hope that you go with us. Right now, we're at, 110 subscribers?
I believe so.
113?
Something like that.
I would like by the end of the year to get to 200. And we are going to make that happen because we are going to commit to ourselves to making that
How
happen.
about the end of the year we get to 5,000?
That's good too. But right now we're going to have 200.
10,000.
Million.
We're going to have 200
50 million
by the end of the year.
subscribers by the end of the
So
year.
again,
Entire world
Actually, it'd be a very
population.
subscribed YouTube channel.
I would love all this, guys. But what I'm saying is, realistically, let's work on a goal to getting us
He
to
said it's
200.
not realistic.
100 million.
200, guys.
right.
Please.
Million?
Thousand?
Start commenting.
Billion?
And we're going to start answering your comments.
Negative
Yes,
200.
please comment.
Yes, please comment. We are going to interact more with you guys. We're going to have a segment called Best Fan Comments. If you can comment and we get 10 plus comments every video, we're going to start doing that. We're going to start eventually, hopefully by next year, doing prizes, giving giveaways, maybe have some merch to drop. We're really working on it. We really appreciate everyone who's watched, subscribed, commented every video. There are a few people who do it, but we're very grateful. We're very grateful even if you turn us on for 5 minutes. It gives us a view. We're very grateful. All of us here, thank you very much for watching, subscribing. It's only going to get better from here. Also, Will has something to say.
Thank you.
I wrote it on your...
I think it's under here.
Thank you for watching, guys. We're going to do this one.
Yeah! Woo!
Boom.
That
Start
was
of
the
a new
hardest
journey.
high five
Start
anyone
of a new
has
journey.
ever given.
And his